My name is Joanne, standing in my brand new office, looking out at the city skyline as the sunset paints it in warm hues. I'm reminded of how far I've come. Just a week ago, I was demoted and humiliated, but now I'm the International Partnerships Director, with a team of 12 reporting to me and direct access to the board. It's a far cry from the corner desk I was relegated to. Let me take you back to the day everything changed. I was at the podium, a certificate for my long-awaited promotion to Senior Development Manager in my hand. That's when Olivia strolled into the conference room. She was the daughter of Mr. Thompson, our CEO. Olivia spent more time posting pictures of office parties on social media than learning about our product line. As she approached, the clicking of her designer heels on the floor sounded like a countdown to my downfall. "Excuse me, everyone," she announced, her voice cutting through the congratulatory murmurs. "There's been a slight adjustment to today's announcement." The room fell silent. I had worked for 3 years, pulling all-nighters for product launches, saving accounts, and participating in countless international conference calls. All of it had led to this moment of promotion, but now Olivia was looking at me as if I were an insect under a microscope. After careful consideration, she continued without even glancing at the note card in her hand, "We've decided the senior development position requires additional experience. Joanne will be taking the assistant coordinator role instead." She gave me a thin smile. Consider it a reality check. The certificate in my hand suddenly felt like it weighed a ton. My face flushed as the room blurred. Mr. Thompson, Olivia's father, wasn't even present for this ambush. My closest colleague, Lily, reached for my arm, but I stepped away. I refused to break down in front of everyone. Olivia checked her watch and added, "The champagne and cake will still be served in the break room. I have calls with our European partners in 15 minutes, so I'll miss the celebration." Those European partners were the ones I'd spent 6 months cultivating relationships with for our biggest international launch yet. As people filed out, their congratulations turned into whispered sympathies. I felt a shift inside me. It was as if the floor beneath my feet tilted, and a clarity I'd never experienced before washed over me. Little did I know, that moment of humiliation would be the catalyst for something Olivia never anticipated. I grew up in a small inland town. My father was a strict school principal who taught me the importance of discipline and hard work. My mother was a free-spirited artist, instilling in me the value of creativity and thinking outside the box. Neither of them prepared me for the cutthroat world of corporate politics. I joined Mr. Thompson's company 3 years ago after getting my master's in international business development. The company was struggling to expand beyond domestic markets, and my thesis on breaking into reluctant international economies caught their attention. I wasn't the obvious choice. I didn't have the prestigious background of other candidates. But my research was solid, and I was eager to prove myself. For my first project, I was tasked with analyzing why our products weren't selling in Brazil. After 3 weeks of intense research, I found that our local distributor was mishandling the products, causing damage before they even reached the stores. My solution saved the company $3,400,000 in the first quarter. I continued to solve problems that others couldn't see. When our African market expansion hit a roadblock, I identified cultural adaptations that revived sales. When new regulations threatened our South American distribution, I found a legal workaround that maintained our profit margins. But despite my efforts, I remained in a mid-level position while less qualified people advanced. There was Mark, who was a friend of Mr. Thompson's from his golf club. And there was Ethan, who went to the same Ivy League school as the board chairman. And then there was Olivia, who spent her first year observing departments before landing a director title. I naively believed that merit would eventually win out. The morning before my promotion was supposed to be official, I received an email from our largest potential European partner. Their CEO wrote, "Your analysis of our market is the most comprehensive we've seen. We look forward to tomorrow's presentation and finalizing our partnership." That partnership would be worth $42 million in first-year revenue alone. I had spent months uncovering a legislative loophole that would give us significant tax advantages if we acted quickly before pending regulations closed it. The information was not public knowledge, My research with regulatory insiders had revealed it. This was my masterpiece, and now it seemed like it was going to be Olivia's. After the demotion announcement, I went straight to HR. Mr. Davis, the Human Resources Director, greeted me with a practiced neutrality. His office smelled of coffee and old paperwork. "Joanne, what can I do for you today?" he asked, even though he surely knew why I was there. "I'd like to understand the rationale behind my position change," I said, keeping my voice steady, especially since it contradicted what Mr. Thompson had told me the day before. Mr. Davis shifted in his seat. "Position adjustments happen for various reasons." "Mr. Davis," I interrupted, "we've known each other for 3 years. Let's not pretend this is normal procedure." He sighed and his shoulders dropped. "Look, I understand your frustration, but her father owns the company. What do you expect us to do?" The fluorescent light above flickered, casting shadows across his apologetic face. "So, merit means nothing here?" I asked. "Merit means something," he replied carefully, "but family means more." As I took the elevator down to my floor, my phone buzzed with a message from Lily. "Olivia just emailed everyone. She's taking over your European presentation tomorrow. Says she's handling it personally now." The elevator doors opened, but I was frozen in place. The European presentation contained my research about the regulatory loophole, the key to our competitive advantage. If presented correctly, it would secure our position in 5 European countries. My phone buzzed again. "She's in your files right now, copying everything," Lily messaged. I returned to my desk, which was soon to be moved to a distant corner. There was Olivia, sitting in my chair, scrolling through my computer. She didn't even look up. "I need your presentation notes for tomorrow," she said. "They're all in the shared folder," I replied. "Everything's there." This wasn't entirely true. My latest research, the critical updates about the regulatory timeline, was saved in my personal notes. I hadn't transferred them to the shared drive yet, planning to incorporate them during my final presentation review. "Perfect," Olivia said, standing up. "I'll take it from here. You should start moving your things to the assistant coordinator desk." She finally looked at me with a curious expression. "You know, if you had a better work-life balance, this might not have happened. All work and no play makes for replaceable employees." As she walked away, my desk phone rang. It was Ms. Garcia, our contact at the European Regulatory Commission. "Joanne, I just confirmed that information you asked about. The vote is definitely happening next week, not next month like everyone thinks. If your company wants to utilize the existing framework, you'll need to file within 10 days. 10 days. Not the 6 months everyone in the industry believed we had. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. This is incredibly valuable. I'm only telling you because you've done your homework better than anyone else approaching our markets. Will I see you at tomorrow's presentation?" she asked. I paused, my hand tightening around the receiver. "I'll be there, but there's been a change in presenters." After hanging up, I sat still, thinking about my options. The right thing to do would be to immediately update the shared folder with this critical information. But as I watched Olivia showing off my presentation to her admirers across the office, another idea came to mind. I could just do nothing. The thought both scared and excited me. I had never deliberately withheld information before, but I wasn't being asked to present. I was being demoted and my work was being stolen. What did I owe them? That evening, I stayed late to pack my desk items while everyone else left. The office grew quiet, except for the hum of the air conditioning. In the corner conference room, I could see Olivia still practicing my presentation. She was fumbling over the technical details, but her confidence never wavered. She truly believed that confidence alone could make up for her lack of competence. As I watched her, my phone rang. It was Mr. Thompson. "Joanne," he said without preamble, "I just heard about today's announcement. I want you to know I was in board meetings all day. Are you saying you didn't approve the change?" I asked, my heart racing. There was a long pause. "I'm saying Olivia has strong instincts about organizational needs. The board feels she's ready for more responsibility, and your work and projects will be appropriately managed." Emerging talent? I thought to myself. Olivia was 33, 3 years older than me. I understand, I said, though I really didn't. Excellent. I knew you would. That's why we value you, he said. But clearly, not enough to honor their promises or protect my career. As I hung up, Olivia emerged from the conference room. Seeing me still there, she approached. Still working? That's dedication, she said with a fake brightness. Quick question about slide 32, the regulatory timeline. It mentions pending legislation, but doesn't give specifics. Is there a supplemental document? This was my moment. The information from MS. Garcia changed everything about our market entry strategy. Without it, any presentation would be fundamentally flawed. I looked at Olivia, really looked at her. Behind her confidence, I saw anxiety. She knew she was presenting work she didn't understand, but she also believed her father's name would protect her from the consequences. Everything important is in the main deck, I said. The legislation isn't expected to impact near-term plans. The lie felt strange on my tongue, not bitter, as I might have expected, but almost sweet. Perfect, she said, visibly relieved. That's what I thought. She turned to leave, and then stopped. You should really be grateful. Assistant coordinator is more your speed. The senior role requires someone who can see the big picture, not just crunch numbers. After she left, I sat alone in the darkening office. The next day, Olivia would present my work to our European partners, our executive team, and the investment committee. She would present outdated regulatory information. She would miss the urgency of our market entry timeline. She would, with absolute confidence, lead the company toward a massive strategic error, and I would watch it happen. The next morning, I arrived early and took a seat in the back of the main conference room. Executives started filing in at 8:45. Our European partners arrived at 8:55, led by Mr. Schmidt, their silver-haired CEO. The investment committee, 5 serious individuals with the power to approve or deny the $42 million expansion, took their seats at 9 o'clock sharp. At 9:10, Olivia entered wearing an outfit that probably cost more than my monthly salary. She distributed handouts, my handouts that I'd created 3 weeks ago. Good morning, everyone, she began. I'm Olivia Thompson, Strategic Initiatives Director, and I'm excited to present our European market entry strategy. For the next hour, I watched her deliver my work as if it were her own. She handled the basic material well enough. The market size analysis, the competitive landscape, our product differentiation. The audience seemed engaged, nodding at appropriate moments. Then came the questions. These projections assume current regulatory conditions, said MS. Brown from the investment committee. What contingencies do we have if regulations change? Olivia smiled confidently. Our analysis indicates regulatory stability in this sector. The European Parliament isn't considering relevant changes for at least 6 months, giving us ample implementation time. Mr. Schmidt frowned and exchanged glances with his legal counsel. Are you certain? We've heard rumors of accelerated timelines. Just rumors, Olivia assured him. Our sources are quite reliable. My stomach tightened. Yes. Garcia wasn't a rumor. She was the assistant director of the Regulatory Commission. The questions grew more technical. With each one, Olivia's answers became vaguer. Her confident smile became more forced. When asked about tariff implications for specific product components, she gave an answer so incorrect that I had to stifle a gasp. Then Mr. Schmidt asked the question I'd been dreading and anticipating. What's your position on next week's parliamentary vote regarding cross-border digital commerce regulations? Olivia blinked rapidly. Next week? Our intelligence suggests that vote is scheduled for next quarter. It was moved up, Mr. Schmidt said flatly. It's on the official parliamentary calendar. The outcome will fundamentally reshape market entry requirements. For the first time, Olivia faltered. We believe it won't significantly impact our projections. The room went silent. Mr. Schmidt leaned back, no longer taking notes. The investment committee members exchanged concerned glances. Mr. Thompson, sitting at the head of the table, frowned deeply. Perhaps, Mr. Schmidt said carefully, We should reconvene after your team has had time to assess the updated regulatory timeline. The meeting ended with uncomfortable handshakes and non-committal pleasantries. As everyone filed out, Mr. Thompson pulled Olivia aside, his expression thunderous. Neither of them looked in my direction. I returned to my new, smaller desk in the corner, facing a wall, a physical manifestation of my demotion. By lunchtime, whispers spread that the European partners were reconsidering. By mid-afternoon, the investment committee had postponed their decision. At 3 o'clock, Mr. Thompson burst from his office, his face flushed, phone in hand. Olivia followed, her earlier confidence replaced by panic. My phone began to buzz. First Lily, then Mr. Davis from HR, then the head of legal. By the time I checked my notifications 4 hours later, I had 96 missed calls and messages. The company was in crisis mode. The European partners had not only delayed, but were reconsidering whether we were competent enough to work with. The investment committee was questioning the entire expansion strategy, and everyone was looking for answers about how we could have missed something so fundamental. No one had yet realized that I might have those answers. But they would soon, and when they did, everything would change. That night, I couldn't sleep. My phone kept buzzing with messages, but I refused to answer. Around midnight, I finally silenced it and stared at the ceiling, my thoughts racing. The company was in full meltdown, and I was the only one who knew exactly why. The next morning, a company-wide email announced an emergency board meeting at 9 a.m. My name wasn't on the attendee list. No surprise there. Assistant coordinators didn't attend board meetings. I dressed carefully that morning, choosing a simple black dress I'd worn on my first day at the company. As I applied my lipstick, my phone rang. It was Lily. "Joanne, where are you? Everyone's looking for you. Mr. Thompson is having a complete breakdown, and Olivia locked herself in the bathroom an hour ago." "I'll be in shortly," I replied calmly. "They've called an emergency board meeting. Mr. Schmidt and the European team are threatening to walk completely. Did you know about the vote next week?" I paused, lipstick in midair. Yes, I did. There was a long silence. "Joanne," Lily's voice dropped to a whisper. "Did you deliberately not tell Olivia?" I set down my lipstick. "I'm on my way. We'll talk when I get there." When I arrived at the office, it was chaos. People were rushing between conference rooms, their expressions tense. Mr. Davis from HR spotted me immediately. "Thank God," he said, rushing over. "The board wants to see you now." He led me to the executive floor, a place I'd visited rarely and never with positive outcomes. Outside the boardroom, Mr. Thompson was pacing while two board members spoke in hushed tones. Olivia was nowhere to be seen. When Mr. Thompson noticed me, he stopped pacing. His face, normally confident and commanding, looked haggard. "Joanne," he said, my name sounding strange at his mouth. "We need to talk about the European presentation." Before I could respond, the boardroom door opened. Mr. Harris, the board chairman, gestured me inside. "Ms. Anderson, please join us." The long boardroom table was filled with serious faces. Mr. Schmidt and two members of his team sat on one side. The investment committee occupied the other. At the head sat Mr. Harris, his silver hair perfectly arranged despite the crisis atmosphere. "Ms. Anderson, Mr. Harris began as I took the single empty chair. "We understand you were originally assigned to the European market expansion project." "That's correct," I replied. "And you were removed from the project yesterday, immediately following your position adjustment," he continued. I nodded. "Yet you attended yesterday's presentation. Why?" All eyes turned to me. I could feel Mr. Thompson's gaze burning into my back from where he stood by the door. "I wanted to support the company's interests," I said carefully. "I've invested significant time in this project and care about its success." Mr. Schmidt leaned forward. "Ms. Anderson, were you aware of next week's parliamentary vote on cross-border commerce regulations?" The room held its breath. This was the moment that would define everything that followed. "Yes," I answered simply. I received confirmation of the accelerated timeline the day before yesterday. The room erupted with voices. Mr. Harris raised his hand for silence. And why wasn't this information included in yesterday's presentation? He asked. I met his gaze directly. I was removed from the project before I could update the shared files. My notes about the regulatory changes were in my personal research documents. Personal research? Mr. Thompson interrupted from behind me. All company work should be on the shared drive. I turned slightly to face him. The verification came through shortly before my demotion. I hadn't yet transferred my notes. And afterward, no one asked me for any updates. The silence that followed was deafening. Do you have this information with you now? Mr. Schmidt asked. I reached into my bag and removed a folder. I do, I said, along with a complete analysis of how we can still enter the market before the new regulations if we